Hello and welcome back. We're going to be going through some of the features of Google Slides that will help you with your presentation today. So features that are going to help you with your prototyping. All right, just quick review: presentation software, PowerPoint, Keynote, Google Slides. We're going to be using Google Slides. Most of you have used it, and it's a great tool for collaborating. You can also use IDEs such as Xcode, or there's a plethora of prototyping software. But for today, we're going to focus on Google Slides. Now, before we start on the presentation, I just want to show you a few things. Yes, you're going to be discussing your app, what you wanted to do, why you chose it, how you plan to do it. But there's going to be a part of your presentation that's going to need the screens, the images of what your screens are going to look like. And a really nice way to do it is by using an image of a phone. And notice it's see-through here, which is nice. Whenever you do anything, if you want to undo it, you can do Control Z to undo it. Z as in zebra. All right, so we have provided you some images of phones, if you'd like, in the Canvas shell, in the modules area, towards the bottom of the page in the extra resources group. Or you don't have to get that fancy. You can make it look equally as nice with a simple rectangle. An only thing, in case some of you might, I'm going to want to make it see-through as opposed to a background. When you first create a shape, so you go to the shapes and click rectangle, it comes, well, actually this one is transparent. Sometimes it comes filled, so it just depends. If it comes filled and you don't want it to be filled, just click the fill button and make it transparent. So some might want the background color, some might want it just plain white. So it just depends what you'd like to do. At that point, you just make other shapes with text box text in it, and there you go, you got a button. And if it doesn't come up with a border, then you want to put a border. So there's the fill color. You select the shape, you can change the fills, you can change the color of the border, and you can change right next to it the weight of the border. So that's a very not good looking button, but it gets you an idea and it's great to practice with. So that's one way to do it. I'm going to give you some other ideas. One is you can make a table. See, this is just a table, and you go to Insert, Table, and this one is 2 columns, 5 rows. You make a table, you can resize it, and you can add stuff to it. So I'm going to get rid of that, and then I'm going to move my table back. These are just simply icons in my table. Always remember that you can use the lining. See, if you see the red line right there, it shows it's lined up. The center is lined up with the other centers. So that's a great way to line objects up. These icons, if you would like icons, extra ones, I'm going to give you a tip. Go to Add-ons and go to Get Add-ons, and then look for Insert Icons for Slides, and then you can install it. Now I've already installed it. Once you install it, you go to Add-ons and you'll see which one you installed. You can open the sidebar, and this is a great tool. You're going to get a lot of different icons. You can change the color up here, so you can make it whichever you want. They're not fancy, but they're nice, and in case you need something, maybe an on-off button, something like that. And then you just click it to bring it over. Let's say I want a different pastry. I don't like those pastries. Oh, I like that. Click on that. It's adding, and then you can reduce it and move it. So that is one thing. The other tip is when you move this object over, it's on top of the table, which is what I want. Sometimes, I'm going to show you, the object is behind. And see, it's making it really awkward when I move it. So the phone screen should generally be in the front. To do that, you can either go to Arrange, Order, or you can right click on it and go to Order and then say Bring to the front. So now it's to the front. So that's another tip. Yet another tip is if you're going to be using maps, again, this is a prototype. So if you have a screen that's going to show the user locations, just find a map with locations on your phone, take a screenshot, pull it in. That's all you have to do. It doesn't have to actually be the actual locations. So those are different tips on how to do that. So I'm going to get rid of these slides because we don't need those. And then let's say we're working on an app. Mind you, this is going to be quite the useless app, but it's going to just show you some of the basics. Now this is just another phone, and these are objects, hearts. I went to shape and I created a heart. You can rotate them. It saved the color that I wanted, but maybe I want to make it pink. You can resize it, move it. Now this gets to be awkward. There's a whole bunch. Say I want this to always be the background, always. A really great way is to select all of it. You'll be able to see everything's selected. Go to Arrange, and instead of going to Order, you go to Group. Now you don't want to group everything, like your entire screen, once it's finished. Well, like you could to move it, but when you get to the prototyping, the building part of it, you're not going to want the whole phone group, but we can easily fix that. But what's nice is once it's grouped, you can Control C for copy, and then Control V, like victory, for paste. And then you can paste a whole bunch of these. You can create all your backgrounds. I'll get rid of this. And then you can come in and start making the stuff in the front. So this is just a text box. You can click the text box here or go to Insert Text Box. This one doesn't have a border. So over here there's fill, border color, border weight. I will make it equally as ugly as I did before and make it a nice big border. So you can start designing your phone screens. The best thing to do is design them all. Okay, so and leave them there, and you can get rid of them later. So now after you've designed all your phone screens, you're ready to really get into your presentation, or maybe you already have people working on it. But the first part of your presentation today, obviously your title page with your name and your group members. Then it's going to be an area of the description. This is where you get your chance to tell us about your app. What's it about? Why? How? What? And the history of it and what it can do for people. And it doesn't have to be one screen. In fact, it's going to be quite a few probably. So you get that done. Maybe you have one person working on that. The second part is the navigation, which is two parts really. It's the storyboard. The storyboard, I'll highlight it so we all know it's the storyboard is the second step, but it has two parts. It's the storyboard with navigation and the storyboard with slide descriptions. Okay, so I'm just going to storyboard. I'm going to make this clear. This is the navigation part of the storyboard, and then this is the description part of the storyboard. So this second part is the storyboard, and you'll have the navigation area, and then you'll have one slide with one screen and a description, then another slide with another screen and a description, and so on. Some people like to do the descriptions first, and sometimes I think that's better, and then do the navigation. The navigation can be on one slide or it can be on multiple. Now, for this storyboard area, and only for this, not for what we're about to do later, the easier way to do this is to do screen images, to create them and save them as images on your computer. All right, so let's just go back here and let's pretend this was a final screen. What you're going to do on the PC, you're going to go to your search bar and look for snipping tool. On the Mac, it's actually easier. You're going to simply say Shift Command 4, or not really say it, but click Shift Command 4. When you do that, you're going to get the crosshairs and you're going to select your image and it automatically gets saved to your desktop. Done. Here, make sure you're on the right mode, the rectangle, and then once you've got it set, it'll always be there until you change it. Click New, and here's where you get the crosshairs. Again, on the Mac, just simply press Shift Command 4. You get the crosshairs. Select your image, and I will make sure you can see this. Select your image, go to File, and the snipping tool, Save As. I am going to make sure you can it's not coming up on the screen, but I am saving it as a screen. So I save it, I go to File, Save As, and save it to a location. All right? So do that for all your screens. Once you have them, it's super fast, and it's actually kind of fun. So I'm going to show you by clicking a new blank slide. What you're going to want to do is pull up where you save them. Again, on the Mac, it'll be your desktop. But here, I've got them in a folder. And what you'll want to do is open up your File Explorer and then start dragging the phones that you saved. So here's one. Here's another. I know these don't match, but they're just for an example. And here's another. Make sure they're all the same size. Now, one little tip, if you notice when I did a screenshot, the background was white, which is fine because this background's white. This one, the background was black, so it kind of looks a little weird here. So that's why in this example I had everything with a black background. And here, if you want it all the white background, make sure you do your captures in the same way with the white background. So you have your different screens. You can put as many as you want, make them as small as you want, try to make them the same size, line them up nicely. It lets on Google Slides always look for those red guides, and it shows you, hey, that's lined up at the top with the other phone, and when I stretch it, it is going to show me it's lined up with the other one, the height, so things like that. And then you just simply go to Insert and Lines, or you can go to the lines here, insert an arrow. When you click here, it goes here, or maybe it's the other way around. I'll do it this way. When you go from Welcome, and it goes to that screen, and make your arrows bigger, however you'd like to do it. And that's how you set up the navigation. And similarly, you do the screens, okay? So say this was a blank slide. All you do is you come, pull your slide in, move it to the right location. You can use these guidelines when you move. It lines them up on the ruler. If you don't have the ruler, go to View and select Ruler. And then you've got your image, and then you type your description. So it goes really fast. So let's recap. You're going to have an area with your intro, your description, and so on. Then you're going to have the storyboard with the two parts. One, get rid of that. One part will be the navigation, and then one part will be one screen per slide, and then you have the description. And that's your storyboard. And then lastly, we get to the super fun part is, and I have a mistake here. If you take a look and remember this mistake, it looks weird. I'm going to run it starting from this slide. And look what happens. When I click here, it goes to this slide. And now I can go back. Oh, I don't have it ready. So I will show you how to do that. You saw the first slide, but basically it's going to end up becoming looking like an app when it's really not. It's just Google Slides. So this button we have set up correctly. So let's go to these buttons. Okay, so actually this button is not set up correctly because when I say click, when I push click here, I want to go to the next slide, which is 13. So here's the biggest tip when you're doing this. If it's a object you want the user to click on and it has text, don't click in the text area and you'll see the insertion point blinking. It assumes you're trying to insert text. Kind of click on the side, make sure there's nothing blinking in there, and right click on the side. All right, so this isn't working because the whole image is grouped. And like I said, we don't want it all grouped. So go to Arrange and say Ungroup. Now, right click on that object and you get the link. And here you can come to the slides in the presentation, and when they click this, where do you want to go? I'm going to go to slide 13. Perfect. Now also when you do that, you can also click the link, insert link button up here. All right, so it goes to slide 13. On slide 13, when they click this, I want them to go to slide 14. And when they click no, I want them to go to slide 15. And I'm not going to do those because I don't have those ready. Make sure you have everything ready. When I click on exit now, just be real careful. Right now my cursor is blinking in the word, so it's going to insert the word slide if you remember earlier. So you want to click on the edge, right click, link, and when I click on exit, I actually want it just to go to the last slide. I'm just going to say last slide. And the same goes for this image. Right click, link, and I'm going to say go to last slide. And I think I've got, oh no. So when I go to this slide, I want to go back. Like when I get this, I want to go back to slide 12. So right click on the arrow, link, and now this, I want to take it back to slide 12. And I can do it for this, but just be tricky. This one's tricky because it's a small little text box. Make sure you do not click inside the text. Right click, link, and you go back to slide 13. And you'll know right away because you won't get this. What will happen is slide 13 will be inside the text, and that means you clicked in the text. All right, same thing with here. I'm just going to do the arrow, link, and go back to slide 13. I think we've done this quite a few times. Okay, let's see what happens. You want to test it out, see if it works. So if you present it, if I click on this button, yes, it goes here. Did you complete the review? No. Up, and then it tells you why it's important. Then click the arrow, and it comes back. Did you complete the review? Yes, yay. And then you can go back. Oops, when I went back, I went to the main screen, and that's incorrect. So you'll want to go back to that, because when I go back, I want to go to this screen. And then if you exit, it takes you to the last screen. And I even got some animation in there for the next click. So you can do a lot of fun stuff. And remember, check all your buttons before you present and make sure they're all pointing right. This is the super fun part. Hopefully you'll get time to do all this. So a couple things to remember. One, brainstorm. Get your ideas. Work together as a group. Make sure you include all your group members. Get an idea. Share responsibility. And most of all, have fun. Good luck.